So my computer just crashed when I was recording that last video. I guess that means that it was time to start another one. I was just saying how easy this word is to read because of the dark background. Even on top of this lighter jacket, I can still read that word very clearly. Be really careful crowding text. This is really crowded in this box, the L against the edge, even the top and the bottom and the side here, just too crowded. And same with this text. It's right up against that top edge, right up against that left edge. Even it looks like it even goes over the right edge here on that word too. Also get rid of hyphens. And then some of the comments that I've already made about body copy and how it should function needs some work here. I'm not exactly sure what to have you do, but I think that this text is going to need some more space. So as much as I like all of this space up here, you might need to do something different to give this text some space. Like if you moved this photo up, and maybe you could even solve the problem down here by fading the photo out and making the text dark on light or light on dark so it could be contrasted, and then just giving it some more area. Okay, the next one. First thing I see here is that their heads are cut off, and that feels odd to me. I don't know that we want to just see these bodies or these suits with no heads, no personality, really there's no emotional pull from this photo now for me to go to this conference. I take the stroke off of these boxes. I love this strong right alignment here with this word and this word and this edge of this line and that box and these boxes. That's great. There's also a nice strong line here. I wish that this wasn't indented over and that this wasn't indented over, because now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left places, left vertical lines, when I don't think you need that many. You could get away with 1 or 2 max and still be good. There's good white space here, good separation in paragraphs. I like that these are italicized because that helps the readability. That text stands out as being different. Well done. Another one that's nicely done with some great white space here and here. I would have less space between these lines. I think less space between these two things, this text and this photo. Just bring them together. You don't want it right up against the edge, but maybe in about here or so. I wish this nice strong line connected with something. I like that these two words connect and that there's a little bit of contrast. I think you could use more contrast. I like that you put the date, time, and place down here separate. These lines throw me off a little bit. 8 to 5p, I don't think that makes sense. And then these lines start to look like they're part of these ones. 2, 1, something, 8, 5p, 1l. So the 1 and the L, I don't know. You might try something different there. And don't use a hyphen, use an N dash. Separate these paragraphs out or do something to make it clearer where one starts and one begins and the relationship between them. The spacing here is really important. I think that's about it there. I guess just one last thing is to think about, how can I keep the nice clarity and strength of this project and still do something to make it interesting and unique. This text is really crowded, and there's nice contrast, nice strong alignment. This could be stronger if it weren't a white box on top of a black box. This black box is so heavy that it seems like it doesn't deserve the weight that it's taking, the attention that it's getting. It does have the logo in it, but the logo seems like it's a different thing than all this black. This isn't really using the black. I think that I've said this, but I can't remember anymore. http://www. We don't need that. Let's just take that out. It's clutter. And just use voinkcomm.com/leaders. Nice strong line here. These lines are fine, but they do take away white space. This could all be a nice open white space here, and this line is just cutting that off. Same here, it's cutting that off, and this is too crowded. Even that's too crowded with that line. But this is good white space. Could be better if that was more open. At the same time, I like those lines. I think they're functioning to hold this all together. Just think about them and try some different options and see what you come up with. This feels nice and open up here in the title. I like the placement of this logo, except that it's crowding that edge. I'd move it in. It's nice that it looks like it's part of the photo. I wish this text wasn't center aligned. That makes it too weak for the message that you're trying to send. You've got some creative alignment here, and it's working pretty well, actually. My tendency would be to line the G up here with the L. But I guess if you don't want to do that, then make this more different than it is right now. It's too close to the edge of that L. So I'd say, and plus it's creating a tangent right there. Take it over to the right some more. Generally up here, it looks good, and using creative alignment is not easy. But you've done it fairly well. Generally, and here again, I'm just saying my tendency would be to make a place for things to align. So does this really have to have its own alignment? And this, maybe that connects there. I hope it does. But then these two, the G and the D there, maybe they could connect with a vertical, invisible line. I really like the italic here, how that helps that to function differently, and the size here. So great job. This is a good, strong project. First thing I notice is the squished photo. You didn't hold shift, so they're out of proportion. Be sure you fix that. A lot of your white space is trapped here in the middle of all of this content. Think of white space as a frame, and so you want the frame on the outside of the content to bring your focus in. And give this text more space inside this box. And same with this text and this text. All the text needs more space. Somehow there doesn't seem like there's much unity here. Maybe it's alignment. See, the edges of this box don't align with anything. This vertically almost aligns with that, but not quite, and so there's a disconnect there. This black box almost aligns with the edge of this photo, but not quite, so there's a disconnect there. Oh, this is unique. Circles. I like that it's unique. At the same time, I'm not sure that it fits the tone of a leadership conference. It feels a little more party than conference. I imagine that there's a way you could keep some of that, this theme that you've got going on, and still make it feel more professional. And it's probably going to require some straight lines. Like this straight line is a good way to incorporate some more rigidity, more predictability, I guess you could say, into the design. Same with these lines here. But in this text box, it's all round and just, I like it. It is a little close here, right there to this other photo circle. And this wrap seems to be getting farther away as we go down. Do you see what I mean? It's close here, but it's farther down there. I'd like to see some contrast in this text. There's too much text that's all the same. I'm not going to want to read that. So give me some contrast. This text, I wonder what it would look like if you made it light instead of dark. Since this is a dark background, I bet you anything it would pop better if there was more of a value contrast there. Okay, another nice creative, nice shapes. I like how these kind of come together and bring us to a point so that our eyes are kind of led down to here, the funnel, and then out. And I love this contrast. Nice direction, size, and color. I mean, white on black instead of everything else is black on white. So nice contrast there with the title. These alignments are working fairly well. You do have a widow right here. You'll want to think of another way to handle that. Maybe if this had a little bit more space here, or I don't know, something needs to happen to those words. Maybe if you brought it down a little bit farther, it would force more words over to this third line. You have the competitive edge in business. So you changed the wording, I think. That's all right. I don't mind that. Yeah, it's strong. That's a strong project. Just a couple things to think about. Some of the things that I've said before, for example. And this is the last one. My first impression of this one is that it doesn't look like it's finished. I'm not positive why. Give me just a minute to think, but I don't think it's the white space, because I generally love white space, and you've got a lot of really good framing white space. So here's a couple of thoughts. Center aligned text, the title and the body copy, and the date, time, and place. Just don't go there. The photo needs to be larger. It's too unimportant at that size. The text is crowded in these boxes. The stroke or outline on these boxes makes them even more crowded than they need to be. I would just take that stroke outline off. There needs to be less space between these two lines in the title and some more contrast. Generally, I think that's what this page needs, is some contrast. Something to make it so that the reader knows where to look first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So this should be, more different, and then it should lead me maybe to the photo or to the introductory line of the text. Make things that function differently, make them visually different. I think that will help quite a bit. So that's my critique, 3 videos. I hope that they're helpful to you, and I'll see you all on Tuesday.